Well, first, let me just say this. First of all, betrayal trauma can only occur if there is a dependency or a reliance upon a relationship dynamic. So you can certainly have betrayal trauma from a child. Let's just say you're an older parent and they're taking care of you, or they're taking care of your
Okay.
finances, and they
Okay.
empty out your 401, or they just stopped coming over giving you your medication. That could be betrayal trauma. You can most certainly get betrayal trauma from our parents. In a lot of ways, we rely
Yeah.
on our parents. We can get
Yeah.
betrayal trauma from our jobs, our career, because we rely on our jobs for a paycheck to keep us, fed. We rely on, let's just say if somebody has a reliance or a dependency on, they believe in nature or God or what created, and something happens. Or we can even have betrayal trauma from our own selves. We can say, Mr. J, I meditated, I prayed, I did all the things I was supposed to do, my yoga, and I was still diagnosed with breast cancer. I feel like my body betrayed me, or I feel like my
Mm.
creator betrayed me. And then, of course, most definitely, we could have betrayal trauma from our spouse, our significant other, our
Yeah.
partner,
That's
because we
huge.
relied on them. I'm also working with a couple of people right now where suicide played a part in their betrayal. Working with a gentleman
Mm.
right now who says, Mr.
Mm.
J, my father was my best friend, and he took his own life. So I feel like my father took away my best friend. That's
Yeah.
betrayal trauma.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, let me just say this. If we are rebuilding with the same person who hurt us, sometimes we can, sometimes we can't, sometimes we choose not to, sometimes we choose to. Everything.
There it is.
If we decide to rebuild something with the person who harmed us, and I need everybody to listen carefully because I'm about to ruffle some feathers, their job is not to heal you. Their job is not to heal you. Their job is to create a safe environment so you and your body can do what comes naturally.
Healing. Yeah.
Like this, if you cut yourself, right, you have to put on the ointment, you have to put on a band-aid, but you can't heal the cut. Your body's going to naturally heal the cut. You have to give it a safe
Yeah.
environment.
Right. A safe environment is key here. If you can't create that safe environment, I'm going to try it again with Fred. I mean, I know he did all this stuff, but I know he's going to do it better this time. And Fred doesn't create it. He doesn't participate in creating a safe environment. You're the one creating the safe environment. Can healing happen in that situation?
No, it can't. It really can't. Now, Fred could not know certain tools and techniques and procedures and
Mm.
protocol. Well, then go find somebody who's betrayal trauma informed, betrayal trauma skilled, betrayal
Mm.
trauma trained, and you can. But if there's no willingness, there's no way.
No way.
No,
Yeah.
no. But I'm going to tell you something. Betrayal hits us at our core insecurities. So we have to go back and heal unhealed trauma and unhealed wounds.
Hello and welcome to Angelscapes, and I am your host, Nancy Smith, your guide to living a soul-powered life. I want to ask you, how many relationships have fallen down on you? And what is your go-to skill to pick yourself up and move forward? My guest today is Mr. J, is what he calls himself. He's a betrayal trauma practitioner and an interpersonal relationship coach. And we're going to talk about, she's also an Air Force vet, which congratulations and thank you for your service. And we're going to talk about what is your way back when you lose trust from betrayal of somebody you were counting on, whether it's a lover, whether it's a friend, a family member, or a business partner. It's all about improving the relationship you have with yourself to set a due tone and a standard for all of the relationships around you. That is so true, Jay. That is so true. Um, and you know what? When I was looking at your stuff, we were talking about relationships, and I was kind of thinking, and you had a couple of things that you said on your website, and I was really thinking about, we have betrayal and trauma, and from so many relationships, you can't just. It could be mom or dad, could be siblings, but or we can't just hang it on lovers. And I would love for you to talk about that because you do talk about that with your clients.
Yeah, yeah. Well, first of all, Nancy, I can't thank you enough for giving us this space and platform. So I appreciate
Sure.
it. So I just wanted to start there and just say this. I want to start by saying stress affects us, trauma changes us,
That's a good point.
betrayal trauma realigns us
Okay.
because betrayal trauma.
Okay.
Betrayal trauma affects our identity. It's the
Mhm.
only trauma that it differs from all other sorts of trauma. And I'm going to give you, for this uh, interview, just three. Number one, trauma in and of itself affects the present and the future.
Mhm.
Betrayal trauma is the only trauma that affects the past, present, and future. Because
Really?
now you can't look at old photo albums like you did before without thinking, well, wait a
I
minute, was
know.
this going on during this time? Now
Right.
you can't visit the same hotels or restaurants because if he or she took them there to eat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now you question everything. Well, wait a minute. When we took our kids to vacation and he or she said they had a meeting, they had to step out, were they really at a
Mhm.
meeting or were they going to do A, B, and C or
You
meet A,
can't,
B, and C? So
yeah,
it's the only trauma that affects
you
the
can't
past.
trust your memories anymore. That
Absolutely.
is devastating.
And if we have time, I'll go into the whole
Yeah.
hippocampus, which is what you
Yeah.
just
I
brought up.
love it.
The other thing too is that with trauma in general, usually you can ask your boss for some bereavement time or grieving time off or some type of sickness
Mhm.
time off. With trauma, usually you have friends and family bringing you macaroni and cheese and sending you cards and checking up on
Yeah.
you. When
Yeah.
you have a break in trust in your relationship,
Mhm.
it's a secret society, and so we often suffer alone.
Totally.
So
Yeah.
it's an additional challenge, the loneliness. You don't want to tell people what you just,
Yeah.
discovered or what you know. Now,
And people don't want to be told sometimes. They just don't, I don't want to hear it. Get over it, you know?
correct, correct. And now there are people that do shout it from the rooftops and get on social media and spill all that, but that usually comes back to bite them. And so, anyways, there's a few ways that betrayal trauma is different from non-betrayal trauma. But I'm going to tell you something. The biggest takeaway I want your listeners to be listening for is if you are rebuilding. Now, notice I didn't say repairing because I don't believe you can repair from infidelity. I don't believe you can repair from
Mhm.
cheating. I do not believe you can repair from broken trust in a relationship. Listen, Nancy, I can go down to the Titanic right now and repair the holes that sank it,
Mhm.
but the fact is, it's still going to be sitting at the bottom of the sea.
Mhm.
What you need to do if you want the Titanic again, you need to rebuild it. Now, the good thing about rebuilding the Titanic is now we're not starting from scratch. We're starting from experience. So just
That's
like the trade towers, we can't go back from the rubbish and the rubble and say, hey, how can we repair this? You can't. You have to get rid of it, completely clear the old relationship you had, and you start rebuilding a new relationship. The good thing is, however, now you have knowledge and you can build bigger, better, stronger, more beautiful. And I can't tell you how many times I've worked with couples that are in the ravine, in the ditch, in the rubble, and then the new
Mhm.
trade towers are built. The new
Yeah.
Titanic is built. And they have
So,
the relationships that are connected, bonded, much more in love than ever
mm,
before.
I mean, that's good news because I also have a big uh, group of people that have not been able to do that, and where whether they're through friends, family, and stuff, where they're really still struggling. And so I'd love to hear your skills and how you apply them. Um, because betrayal I feel is way more prevalent, and it's betrayal. I want to just really put it out again, is that betrayal is in a relationship, infidelity, the marriage. You've had kids, you've made a commitment to this person, and your whole life is now changed, and no, you can't take bereavement time for that, and nor do people recognize it as something that matters unless you have your own tiny little circle, like you said. What are the skills? But the betrayal sometimes that knocks people out is parents, siblings, friends, jobs. So skills. How do you build the new ship?
Yeah, yeah. Well, first, let me just say this. First of all, betrayal trauma can only occur if there is a dependency or a reliance
Okay.
upon a relationship dynamic. So you can certainly have betrayal trauma from a child. Let's just say you're an older parent and they're taking care of you or they're taking care of your
Okay.
finances and they
Okay.
empty out your 401 or they just stopped coming over giving you your medication. That could be betrayal trauma. You can most certainly get betrayal trauma from our parents. In a lot of ways we rely
Yeah.
on our parents. We can get
Yeah.
betrayal trauma from our jobs, our career, because we rely on our jobs for a paycheck to keep us, fed. We rely on, let's just say if somebody has a reliance or a dependency on, they believe in nature or God or what created, and something happens, or we can even have betrayal trauma from our own selves. We can say, Mr. J, I meditated, I prayed, I did all the things I was supposed to do, my yoga, and I was still diagnosed with breast cancer. I feel like my body betrayed me, or I feel like my
Mm.
creator betrayed me. And then, of course, most definitely, we could have betrayal trauma from our spouse, our significant other, our
Yeah,
partner,
that's
because we
huge.
relied on them. I'm also working with a couple of people right now where suicide played a part in their betrayal. Working with a gentleman
Mm.
right now who says, Mr. J, my father was my best friend, and he took his own life. So I feel like my father took away my best friend. That's
Yeah,
betrayal trauma.
yeah.
That's number one. Number two, let me just say this. If we are rebuilding with the same person who hurt us, sometimes we can, sometimes we can't, sometimes we choose not to, sometimes we choose to. Everything.
There it is, yeah.
If we decide to rebuild something with the person who harmed us, and I need everybody to listen carefully because I'm about to ruffle some feathers, their job is not to heal you. Their job is not to heal you. Their job is to create a safe environment so you and your body can do what comes naturally.
Healing.
It's
Yeah.
like this. If you cut yourself, right? You have to put on the ointment, you have to put on a band-aid, but you can't heal the cut. Your body's going to naturally heal the cut. You have to give it a safe
Yeah.
environment.
Right. A safe environment is key here. If you can't create that safe environment, I'm going to try it again with Fred. I mean, I know he did all this stuff, but I know he's going to do it better this time. And Fred doesn't create it. He doesn't participate in creating a safe environment. You're the one creating the safe environment. Can healing happen in that situation?
No, no, it can't. It really can't. Now, Fred could not know certain tools and techniques and procedures and
Mm.
protocol. Well, then go find somebody who's betrayal trauma informed, betrayal trauma skilled, betrayal
Mm.
trauma trained, and you can. But if there's no willingness, there's no way.
No way.
No,
Yeah.
no. But I'm going to tell you something. Betrayal hits us at our core insecurities. So we have to go back and heal unhealed trauma and unhealed wounds.
That's what you mean about redefining, healing yourself,
Yeah,
redefining.
aligning your yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes,
So the
absolutely.
realignment could be in a bad realignment, or in you're off your beam, or it can be I got to go back and figure this out and realign myself in a healthy way.
Yeah. Should you choose to stay and rebuild? Because, people come to me all the time and say, I'm choosing not to. I mean, Nancy, listen, I'm going to just tell you something. I have learned in this field that our minds can make or break us. Our minds will make or break our relationship. Our minds will make or break our life. For example, we could either marinate in the destruction or lean into the construction.
Mhm.
If all of the people that were at ground zero when the trade centers got hit, and if all the people were just sitting there holding hands, crying and mourning, and I can't believe this, and what's going to happen, we would never have the beautiful trade center that we have today. People got together and said, okay, this sucks. This sucks. It's going to hurt, but we want to rebuild. And then they rebuilt. So I say, no matter if you choose to stay, choose to leave, choose to do whatever, you still deserve healing for yourself because this is an identity rupture. And the reason, Nancy, it's an identity rupture is because when we're in relationship with people, we co-create with them. So if you take a rose, let's just say you take a white rose and you cut the stem in 2 or 3 different pieces, and you put one piece in yellow food coloring and one in blue and one in red, the rose colors themselves are going to change colors. You're creating something new. So if somebody that you are aligned with, you co-created with, you have roots with, betrayed you, there's a part that you feel like you betrayed yourself. So you have to
Betrayed yourself.
completely
Yeah.
realign yourself.
Well, the betrayed, but then I like taking the allegory of, or the symbolism of the yellow or the red coming up and affecting the rose. That relationship has affected you deeply. You still have the yellow inside of you. You still have the red inside of you. And so that you're disconnected with yourself in a way. You've got, I've lost touch of who I really am, my soul. What did I come here for? I talk to people about this a lot, about reconnecting to their essence and getting that back on track. But I don't know if the essence is still going to be affected by the amazing infectious relationship that you had, for good, bad, or ugly, turning it into um, something that's other than, it's a new normal, I feel like. Is that what how would you look at it? Like,
Absolutely, absolutely. And one of the things I just want to say with what you just said is this is one of the hard additional challenges with healing or rebuilding after broken trust is that you not only did that rupture disconnect you from yourself, but
mhm.
depending on how long you were living in a state of what's called betrayal blindness, which I'm going to define in a second,
These two, yeah.
now it makes healing, I don't want to say virtually impossible, but pretty challenging. So very quickly, I just want to say this. Betrayal blindness is this. Betrayal blindness is our body's natural tendency to subdue reality to preserve safety. And I'm going to give you a little bit of an explanation, okay?
Yeah, please. That's
Little Red
mouthful.
Riding Hood wanted to see her grandmother, right? She wanted to see her grandmother so badly that she even knew there was a big bad wolf in the forest, but she had blinders on. She wanted to go see her grandmother, so she just packed her oatmeal cookies and her banana bread, whatever she had in her little basket, and here she is, jumping off to her grandmother's house. Well, she gets to her grandmother's house and she knocks on the door, but Nancy, she doesn't hear her grandmother say, "Hello, who is it? Whatever, come in, dear," nothing. Something in her system knows something is a little off, but she just ignores it. And this can even happen on a subconscious level. Why? Because she wanted to see her grandmother so bad.
Badly. Yeah.
So then she opens up the door. "Grandma, where are you? Grandma." She doesn't hear grandma. Now her intuition, her gut is screaming, either run away, look into this more, be safe. But she wants to see her grandmother so bad, she ignores all that. And again, this is even on a subconscious level, to
Mhm.
the point where now she goes into the back room. She knows it's not her grandmother, Nancy, because she says, "Grandma, why do you have a long mouth and sharp teeth and a beady eyes?" And it's at her detriment because she gets eaten. Well, depending on which version of the story you read. But anyways, my
Because
point
of
is
you.
this.
But yeah, you don't want to see what's in front of you.
My point is this. Oftentimes when we're in a relationship with somebody, we always want to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Hmm.
Okay. So what we will do is we'll be driving down the street and we see our spouse, our partner, our significant other in a
Hmm.
coffee shop with their boss. What's the first thing we do? "Oh, my partner is so nice. Their boss is going through a divorce, so they're helping them through the divorce." Or we go in our car and we see blonde hair. We know very well and we don't have blonde hair. We have brunette hair. But what do we say? "Oh, my partner, my spouse, my significant other, their secretary has blonde hair and they were giving them a ride home because her car broke down. They're so nice." So that's our body's natural tendency to
Yeah.
give somebody the benefit of the doubt. So we repress reality, so we preserve safety. But what happens, Nancy, when the rubber hits the road and that bomb is now in our face and there's no denying it, now we're trying to heal from that bomb getting detonated while we are so separated from ourselves
Oh,
because this is
yeah.
an identity rupture. It's a complete mind F trying to heal from this.
Yeah, it is. It is. It really is. Yeah, I'm just feeling that. I'm feeling the, oh my God.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. And let me
but
just say this. It's something else to marinate on because you brought up the memory. I just want to say this.
yeah.
The hippocampus part of our brain,
Mhm.
it has many different responsibilities and roles, but its primary role is to keep us safe. It's to keep
Mhm.
us safe by recording time and location, right? And the reason why, Nancy, recording time and location is necessary is because one of the critical components that keeps us safe in life is knowing what our future holds. So
Mhm.
predictability. Like for instance, if you have a family or whatever, it doesn't matter if you don't have, hey, we have Taco Tuesday on
Right.
Friday. I
Right.
know I have a podcast on Friday. I got married in 1996. I had my first child in 1997. All that predictability, all that whatever keeps us safe. It keeps us peace. Our life is
Yeah.
peace.
It gives us a structure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What happens when there's a violation of betrayal in our life from somebody that we
Mhm.
depended on or relied upon? It's similar to somebody going into our hippocampus where there's our long filing cabinet of all of our files in our drawer. They
Yeah.
take out that long drawer. They climb up a mountain on a windy day and they turn the drawer upside down. All of the files scatter.
Yeah.
Now you don't know what was real. You don't know what was what. You're now questioning, well, wait a minute. Did this happen then or was that afterwards? Or was I molested when I was 12 or was I actually 14? Or was I, now
Yeah.
all of your life is in question. And now you're going to heal. So what you're doing is you're trying to put those files back into the filing drawer and you
Mhm.
don't know in what sequence they are. And so, and this is an additional challenge to, I don't even know what's real anymore. I don't know what's real. And then you're trying to go to the source to help you, your source that once made you feel safe.
Mhm.
And they're the very source of pain that they gave you. The person who was once your source of safety is now your source of pain.
Yeah.
It's very difficult now because your body is like, well, they call it primal panic. I don't know if you ever watch these nature shows, and this is disturbing, so I hope I don't trigger you or anybody listening, but they've like they'll take like a monkey, a mother monkey who just had a baby, and she doesn't want the baby, so she hits the baby. She keeps hitting the baby, and the baby doesn't know if it should walk away from its mother, but what it keeps doing is it keeps trying to get close to its mother, even though the mother's hitting it, because the baby sees the mother as a source of comfort, yet it's
And
confused with the mother
survival.
as a source of pain.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
happens when we're trying to rebuild with someone is that I'm confused. You're my source of comfort, but you're my source of pain. It's a mind F.
Yeah. It is. It is. Yeah. I would say maybe it's better not to go back. I know people who have gone back to the betrayer and only the betrayer betrays them again. It's like, that's what I do. That's what I know how to do. And I have seen people go into states of, I don't know who I am. I'm just floating. I'm just existing. I'm trying really, really hard, which is a stage of grief. But I think sometimes they match the stages of grief as, I don't know who I am anymore. He's gone, or this behavior's gone, or the thing that I was used to that was grounding me, I have to now use my own resources and ground myself. And I don't trust myself anymore because look at all these decisions I made and where they got me to. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
And there's like a comatose state. They're walking around, people walk around and like, or they get really, really sick, physically ill for a
Oh yeah.
while.
Oh yeah. Listen, the physical ailments of betrayal trauma, you would be shocked. It is everything from loss of weight, gaining weight, headaches, migraines, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, lack of sleep, anxiety attack, panic attacks. People have even cardiomyopathy, heart attacks.
Oh,
People link this to PTSD. Well, it is a sort of trauma.
yeah.
So if people don't dissect and really try to realign and heal from this, the physical effects can be debilitating. Absolutely. You know, one
Absolutely.
of the things I wanted to say, Nancy, is, and this is really where we should go into all relationships. Absolutely. There's a when you're with somebody, of course you trust them to a certain degree.
Mhm.
You have to. I mean, that's what relationships
Yeah.
are. But what I always say is more so than giving people the benefit of the doubt, we should always trust but verify. That's number one.
Say that again. Trust
Trust
and
but verify.
verify. Okay.
Okay. Oh, you said you were with your sister when you went away for work this weekend? Okay, I'm gonna trust you, but I might do my due diligence to make sure that you're being honest with
You're
me.
with your
You
sister.
know? Yeah, absolutely. That's number one. Number two, this is what I want to say, and I try to encourage, especially because I'm one of the things that I'm also do is I'm also a wedding officiant, and if I ever help people with like premarital coaching, one of the things that I tell people is what you want to do is you always want to make sure that you know yourself to such a deep depth and degree that you trust yourself, because and of course if you're rebuilding with someone, this is a must. What you want to do is you don't want to put all of your eggs in the basket of some person who might make
Totally.
some decision in the future that's going to hurt you and break your trust. What you want to do is put your trust in you to say that no matter
Yeah.
what they do or don't do or decide, I'm going to be okay.
You remain sovereign in the relationship.
Yes, because if
Yeah.
not, then what happens is you lose who you are to this person. And then when this person happens to destroy that part of you that's connected with them, now you don't know who you are. Don't get me wrong. You want to co-create with somebody. You want to trust somebody. You want to grow with somebody. But you absolutely at all times, you came into this world alone, and I'm sorry, you're going to die alone. I mean, like nobody's going with you, you know?
Nobody's going there. Yes. Well, sometimes somebody will meet you on the other side, but you have to make the
Well,
journey.
they'll meet you there, but you're still going to
Yeah.
go there alone.
You have to do the journey. Well, you have to do the journey, whether, from the beginning, then you have to do the journey. So not to become like a Little Red Riding Hood, I really want to believe this is true. And you see people do that all the time. I really want to believe this is true. And you're going, don't go there. No, no, don't do it. They do it. But people also, I feel, abandoned themselves first, or they abandoned themselves well before the relationship ever came in. I question I had in mind to talk to you about is two people come together. We're going to help each other heal. We've had all this bad life, and now we're coming together. We're going to make our lives good. What skills do they have? How do they not recreate what happened to them? How do they co-create that healing? I think it takes a big box of tools to do that.
Well, let me just say something. Not only does it take tools, but you know what I find with a lot of my clients is that a lot of them have certain tools, they just don't apply them. And certainly, and this just happened today. This just happened today.
Really?
I talked with a couple, I don't know, 2 years ago, give them a lot of tools, a lot of tools. They were on a good progression. Just talk to them today. This is a perfect example. Just talk to them today after 2 years of not talking to them, and their life is in a mess. And I asked them, I said, listen, guys.
Yeah.
And I went back to their note. I went back to the notes that I gave them. And I said, listen, I gave you this technique, this technique, this technique, these tools, these things. And you guys were applying them just like going to the gym. If you're 600 pounds, when you go to the gym, you got to go to the gym probably 5-6 times a week. If you're 600 pounds, you want to get that weight off. You want to get toned. Then after you're down to about 300 pounds, now you only have to go 3 or 4 times a week, right? Now after you're down to 200 pounds, go 3 times or 2 times. Now when you're down to 150 pounds and you're toned, now maybe you just need to maintain. What happens is some people stop talking to a mental health professional and then they stop going to the gym, meaning they stop going to their toolbox. They stop applying all the things they learned.
Well, absolutely.
So absolutely. One of the things that I do want to say, Nancy, is this, and I think this is for all people. We have to know we are far more than human beings. We're human evolutions. We're constantly evolving, constantly growing, constantly learning. You are not the same Nancy today than you were 5 years ago. You're not going to be the same Nancy 5 years from now than you are today. You are evolution. You're constantly evolving. You're growing. You're learning. So what may work today may not work tomorrow. And you have to continually get to know who Nancy is. And if you're in a committed long-term relationship, your partner has to continually get to know this new Nancy, just like you have to continually get to know your new partner. Yeah. And this is what happens in relationships is we get together with somebody and we treat them and deal with them the same way 20 years later when we're not connected.
We never checked in with them. We never observed.
We wake up one morning and we roll over in our bed and we look at the person we're married to for 25 years and we say, oh, you again? Because we don't even know who they are because we haven't engaged. We've disengaged.
So, yeah, I hear you.
So one of the things we have to do is we have to be intentional with our bridge building. That means that I don't care if you're together 5 months, 5 years, 55 years. You have to be intentional with your dates. And that doesn't mean you have to go out and order prime rib and have flowers. That means, hey, let's check in 10 or 15 minutes. What's going on in your day that you're struggling
Okay.
with? Did I do anything today that made you feel unsafe or unloved or unseen? What can
Hmm.
I do tomorrow to help you on? Anything, are you struggling with anything currently that you haven't shared me? Is there anything that you're scared to tell me? I want to be your safe place. If you are not actively connecting with your partner, then life is going to actively disconnect you with him or her.
I think you're right. I think you're right. And that date isn't necessarily going to the movies or getting the flashy thing going. It's about the appointment to really talk heart to heart. And not everybody has the ability to talk heart to heart. And I'm sure you can relate to this. Um, some people are better with their expressing their emotions than others. You know, some are awkward. Doesn't mean that you can't have a relationship with them. But let's talk about some tools about actually doing that with somebody who's can't quite do it. They're just that's not who they are. But we do need to create that safety, that connection.
Yeah, yeah. Well, two things. Number one is I want everybody to address and reflect on their own biases and weaknesses. If anybody will come to me and say I'm too uncomfortable to have a conversation and to do
Hmm.
this, well, then what gives you the right to think that you can get into a marriage? I mean, that makes no sense. It's like,
Hmm.
if somebody comes to me and says I want to buy a house, but I'm not sure I have the means to pay for the ongoing payments, well then why do you think you have the right to build a house? However, I understand we find ourselves in relationships and marriages, and now
Right.
push comes to shove. In this day and age, with all of the technological advances, there's no excuse. Number one, whoever's listening to this, you obviously have access to a phone or a computer. You could absolutely. Can I just tell you something that I do, Nancy, to this day? Now I'm going on 25 years of marriage. Okay, I'm going on 25 years of
Congratulations.
marriage.
Yeah.
Do you know what I often do? Before we go on a date, which we have young kids, so we can't go on dates all the time, but we try to go on dates as much as possible. One of the things I try to do is I go to Google and I type in questions to ask on a first date. And I will take that, and my spouse and I will ask each other these questions, and you'd be amazed at some of the new things you learn. And this is after we've been together almost 25 years.
I love
So
that
there's
one.
no
Yeah.
reason
Yeah.
not to be able to communicate, not
Be creative.
space,
Yeah.
whatever. Number two, there's workbooks out there that help you connect. I mean, you can find
Hmm.
all kinds of different workbooks together. There's books where you can read books, and then there's very light questions to ask you and your partner back and forth with
Yeah.
each other. You can reach out to a mental health professional that specializes in giving tools and techniques. I mean, in this day and age, you can go out and buy a card game at your local store
Absolutely. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
talks about, hey, these are questions to ask your significant other. I mean, oh my God, I could lift up right now, Nancy, a card game, card game, card game, card game, card game, and I got 50 of other ones in my drawer. There, I mean, another one, card game. Here's another one, card game, communication, and these are card games. Everything from um, how are you physically to how are you sexually? Because there's a lot of people that can talk about a lot of things openly with no
Yeah.
problem.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The second we get into intimacy or sex, that's when people close down.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got cards on intimacy and sex. Let's do it.
We got all the cards for everything.
So,
Jeff cards for getting old and how to handle.
the loneliness, feeling alone, dealing with age, dealing with, finances in your older years, and all. I mean, absolutely. So I'm going to tell you something. Like I said before, where there's a willingness, there is a way. There has to be a willingness, though.
Okay. So if somebody is struggling with communication for whatever reason, the partner can say, listen, you need to ramp it up a little bit. You need to come. Why are you here?
Now, I will say this, though. I've found that the majority of people don't struggle with communication. They struggle with feeling safe to share their thoughts. So
Mm,
maybe the question is, what do you need from me to
yeah.
feel safe so you can share with me freely anything you want to
Mhm.
share?
It's a good question. It's a good question. Also, I think in the other end of it, women come to me and say, he doesn't listen, he doesn't try, he's this, he's that. I don't know if he's cheating. I can't, it doesn't seem like it, but then he's not here. How do you invite him or her back into the relationship? Yeah, like you said, there needs to be willingness, but sometimes there is I didn't even think of that kind of thinking going on. And and then I've also seen relationships turn into I don't trust him, I don't trust her because this, I think this, but they have no verifiable proof of it, but that's just where they go.
Yeah.
And I'm
Well, first
throwing,
of all, I don't know how you feel about this, but your intuition is verifiable proof as far as I'm concerned. That's number one.
I like hearing that. I like hearing that.
Okay. Number two, as far as communicating, you know something what I tell people all the time? You can go to your local department store and buy a paper binder. You know, there's like 40 sheets in
Mm.
it, 70
Yeah,
sheets
yeah.
kids get for college. That's what, 59 cents, 79 cents? And 10 minutes every other day, one person writes down a question, gives that notebook to the other person, and they simply write down an answer. Because a lot of times, especially with men,
Hmm.
eye contact is not the most comforting thing. But
Hmm.
if we read something, there's no eye contact, we can respond via letter.
Okay.
So there's many different tools and techniques
Yeah.
that you could use. I'm not big on texting these things for
No.
different
Yeah.
reasons.
Yeah.
Although if that's the last resort, feel free, or an email. I like the good old fashioned pen and paper. Hey, what did I do today that I missed the mark? And then, well, I'm going to be honest with you. When you brought me coffee today, you spilled it on me. You saw you spilled it on me. I know you're sorry, but you didn't even acknowledge it. You didn't even say you're sorry. That set me
Mhm.
up this morning. And then the other person could be like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't even think that would have set you up. I apologize." And people now can feel vulnerable on
Mhm.
paper rather than the discomfort of eye contact.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not gonna tap
Yeah.
into their vulnerability.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So that's a beautiful tool. I had a friend who said they keep a what I'm gratitude for journal, and they just leave it, and then the person will just write in what they're grateful for,
Yeah.
and I thought that was a great idea. But that also um, opens up the door for exploration or expression.
Yes.
Expression.
I'm gonna give you a little golden gem. Okay. I took a course at UC Berkeley on the
Hmm.
science of happiness. And what they've concluded from their research and database is that one of the direct links of internal happiness is gratitude.
Yeah.
But here's what you have to do: you have to write one, two, three things, doesn't have to be a lot. One, two, three reasons of things why we're grateful, but then three reasons each for them. So, for example, you can write, I'm grateful for my nose. Okay, three reasons why. Well, number one, when I turn my head, it makes my profile attractive. Number two, if I ever smell smoke, it keeps me safe because I can run away from
Right.
danger. Number three, if I ever bake a cake or cookies, I can enjoy my creation. Those are three
Yeah.
reasons why I
I like the
appreciate my
sense of
nose.
smell.
So it's not
Yeah.
just writing down what you're thankful for, it's three reasons each
Right.
of why
Yeah.
you're thankful for those. And if
Yeah.
a couple does that, now you're getting deep, raw, and real, which is a
Okay.
great
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. The great suggestions and these things that I want to say that, so we started with betrayal, we're now we're lost. Our person is gone and they told us that they told us really bad things about ourselves and I'm lost. You can do that to yourself. You can write that, what am I grateful for myself for? What am I, and like you said, I'm grateful for my nose, but bringing yourself back to base with yourself. You need to start a love affair with yourself. I often
Yeah,
say.
one of the things that I tell people to do is if you want to start rebuilding yourself, there's a couple things. Number one, you need to define for yourself what forgiveness is. And this is just in the broad spectrum, not even in terms of what your
Yeah.
partner did, what your significant. What is your definition in general in
Hmm.
life of forgiveness? Once you define what forgiveness is, then you invert that and you apply it to yourself. Because a lot of our trauma, Nancy, is simply believing the lies that we were told or that we told
Hmm.
ourselves.
Hmm.
So, number one, defining forgiveness,
Hmm.
applying it to ourselves. That's number one. Number two, um, taking away, stripping ourselves of all titles. Okay. Mother, father, doctor, janitor, uncle, certified betrayal trauma practitioner, but all titles.
Yeah.
Strip away all titles. Who are you at your core? Who are
Exactly.
you at your core?
Yeah.
Write those down. Write those down. Now, I often tell people maybe write your younger self a letter and say, listen, hey, I'm just going to use you as an example.
Mhm.
Hey, Nancy, I see you there. You're 6 years old. You're in your little blue dress. You're in bed right now, covering your ears with a pillow because you hear your parents screaming, and that makes you feel very unsafe. And I want to let you know that I'm so sorry you're experiencing this right here. And
Oh,
I'm sorry
yeah.
that I couldn't have a voice for you then. I couldn't have your back then because I didn't have a voice. But I'm letting you know now, I have a voice now, and I'll never let you feel that way again. You got to go back to basics and tell your
Absolutely.
younger self,
Yeah.
I got your back now, and we're going to do this thing called healing. And then what you do is maybe find a picture of your younger self, post it in your car, post it in the bathroom, and every morning you give up, give yourself a high five. Every time you get in the car, hey baby girl, how you doing today? You and I are doing rocking this thing called healing. What do you need today? So there's all
Yeah.
kinds of different techniques and things that you can do to go back and start loving yourself. And I'm going to just say this one last thing. It's critical and it's important, Nancy, because it's very, very hard to love yourself if you hate all of the experiences that created who you are.
Yeah. I hear you on that one. And you might have really good reasons why you've hated all the things that have ever happened to you. It could be a hellacious background, but there are things about you that are amazing that got you here to today. So we need to recover those. It's like soul retrieval. You got to go back and remember that about yourself and say, I know that you were upset, the little blue dress with, I got the pillow over my ears, but you got up the next morning and you told your mother you loved her. What a courageous kid you are. I am really admire you for that. Those things I've done in my life that I find life changing,
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
life changing.
Yeah, no,
And
absolutely.
we don't have to be identified by the betrayal and the trauma that we've gone through. We simply have to see our own selves.
Mhm. And I'm going to tell you something. On that note, it's very important that we be careful with the words we use. Instead of saying, I'm betrayed or
Mhm.
I'm traumatized, say, I had a traumatizing experience.
Distant, yeah,
Because now
yeah.
you go from the victim role to the empowerment role. And one
I
of the
love
ways
that.
to heal
I
yourself or
love that.
integrate
I love
trauma
it.
is to empower yourself. And the reason being is because when we are traumatized, our power was taken from us.
Hmm.
If you're with somebody for 10 years and you discover that they were cheating on you,
All
they
right.
robbed you of decisions and choices. They robbed you of power. What you want to do is give yourself back power. So you say,
Back.
I experienced trauma. I experienced betrayal. Not I'm betrayed.
Yeah.
I'm
Or I was
trauma
rejected. I'm,
because
I'm not
it's
part of it.
almost
Yeah.
almost the same thing as
Yeah.
saying I'm angry. No, no, no. Your identity is not angry. You're experiencing anger,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's not your identity. So I think it's very careful
Yeah.
that we use the words.
I agree. I agree. Because words are powerful and we're creating with our words.
And I'm going to tell you something. A lot of the times, there's a mental health professional group out there that believe trauma is not what happens to us. Trauma are the meanings that we assigned the occurrence.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying I agree or disagree, but what I'm saying is because trauma does hit us at our core insecurities,
Yeah.
if we attach the reason somebody did something is because of one of our core insecurities, now
Mhm.
we've just given ourselves extra suffering. So I can
Oh, that I could totally see. So that I experienced betrayal with somebody that I trusted, and however, there's more to this than that. I mean, not more to this. Don't blow up the story, but there's more to my strength. There's more to who I am than experiencing this betrayal.
absolutely.
I may need 10 minutes to find it, but
Some
I'm gonna
people 5
find
years.
it.
Hopefully not, but
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So that's why I love this message of the positivity around, better not bitter and from tears to transformation that you talk about. That it's kind of because you look at it and go, oh yeah, right. But the power of your own self, your core essence, is the ability to heal.
Yeah, yeah. And again, even if people don't like that term healing, um,
Well, become whole
integrate
again. Yeah.
integrate your trauma,
Yeah.
integrate your pain, integrate your wounds, and then learn how to manage them. Because I always say a lot of betrayal and a lot of trauma is interwoven with grief. And just like grief, we don't ever get over the loss of someone, but we do
Mhm.
learn to manage our emotions over that loss.
Well,
So
yeah.
we can manage our betrayal, manage our trauma, and if in the sense that could be our healing.
Yeah.
And then, like I was saying before, uh, if two people do decide to rebuild together, both parties came out of their cocoons. Both now are very fragile, wet butterflies. So you got to dry off and you got to, flap your wings to get strength. But boy, you could definitely bond and have your happily even after if you work correctly with the right people. And I'm telling you something. I have a lot of clients who will say, Mr. J, if you would have told me the relationship I have today with the spouse who hurt me years ago, we are connected, we are bonded, we are so in love right now. We trust each other. We are so happy. This is the marriage and the relationship I
Hmm.
always prayed for and wanted. If you would have told me we would have had this from where we started, I would have never believed you. So you absolutely, with the right time, right tools, and
Hmm.
right
Hmm.
work, you could have your happily even after,
Hmm.
but it's going to take time and work on both ends. There's no such thing
Hmm.
as you hurt me, now you heal me. No,
Right.
their job is to make you feel safe. When they do that, your body will do what comes
You
naturally.
do good. I love that. I wanted to just say that we're online and people are listening is how to get a hold of Mr. J is going to be in the show notes and as you listen to it, whether it's on YouTube or podcast, but you can find him at mrjrelationshipscoach.com. He's got a beautiful link tree. Please explore all the stuff that he's got in that link tree. And you had something free weekly tips. And is this on YouTube or?
So first of all, I'm all over social media. If anybody Googles Mr. J betrayal trauma practitioner or practitioner J or anything along those lines, I'm all over social media, which is funny, Nancy, and I'll be very quick. When I started doing what I'm doing, well, I started off as a intrapersonal relationship coach, but anyways, I never wanted to get on social media. That was never my thing. I was comfortable. I had people that would come to my office, my studio, and I would just talk one on one, whatever. Well, then after COVID, things had to be a little different.
Okay.
But I was talking to one of my colleagues who's on social media, and he said, you should get on TikTok. And I said, I don't have any interest in TikTok. Isn't that a bunch of 18-year-old girls in wet t-shirts and whatever? He was like, no, no, no. There is that part of TikTok. But there's a lot of professionals on TikTok. You should get on TikTok. And anyways, I was like, no, no, I fought it for a while. Then I decided, you know what, let me just put a video up. One thing led to another. A few videos went viral. Now I have almost 30,000 followers on TikTok. And I'm like, hey, I think this is
Here,
great.
wow.
So, anyways, anybody that wants to find me, I'm all over from YouTube to TikTok to Instagram, you name
Yeah.
it, I'm there. And yes, I usually try to give daily tips. I call them my daily dose of vitamin J. I try to give daily tips on everything from how to have the best relationship with yourself, how to connect with your spouse, how to heal after infidelity, and everything in between.
I love that. I always bring people here that are good resources to use, and you are available to meet with people if
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. If anybody wants to ever talk with me, like you said, it's mrjrelationshipcoach.com. But even if nobody ever wants to see my funny face or hear my funny voice, go on my website and take advantage of my free resources.
Absolutely.
mrjrelationshipcoach.com.
Yeah. So I want to thank you so much for coming on. You really have put a positive spin on some very difficult things,
Mhm.
and it's a lifelong learning
It is.
aspect. We're evolving. Um, we're not we're evolving. I like that word. I'm going to put that on my bathroom wall. You're evolving,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Give yourself a
Listen, Nancy, I
break.
just want to tell you something real quick. If you're ever going through a hard time in life, which we all do, you ever riding down the road and your GPS like says recalculating because something's missing or something's wrong? That's what I tell myself. You know what, Jay? Nothing's wrong. You're recalculating.
I like that. Recalculating that voice. Yeah. Your route is recalculating. You took that turn. I don't know why you took that turn. Let me try to figure it out.
Yeah.
But
And yeah, and I'm gonna use your missed wrong turn now to better maybe your trip and your travels. And that's what our recalculating in our own life does. You know what? How many times do we look back and say, thank God for that closed door? Something I wanted so badly, if I would have gotten it, it would have probably not worked out in my best interest.
Or I would have been on a pathway that God knows where it would have been.
100
But now I love the path I'm on.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you again. Maybe we could do this again when we have a little bit more time, but I really appreciate you coming on. And to all those people listening to us, I just want you to encourage you to evolve, to open up your hearts, open up yourself to yourself, and take a look at your relationships and how you're showing up for them, and know that you deserve to be happy. So bring that soul power into your life, and write down 3 things that you learned from this podcast that you could take away. I have at least 6. I was taking notes, but thank you again for coming on, and everybody stay safe, stay healthy, stay in love, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Have a wonderful day.
Thanks.
Are you feeling a disconnect in your life? I see it's time to make a direct connection to find your soul's power and wisdom. Join Nancy Smith to learn tools and steps you can take to create calm and confidence in your life. Plug into your soul's power to be the powerful being you really are.